Wheaton3976 here with the truth. And I was on Facebook today and I was talking to a woman who's basically like a mother to me, Miss Kim. And she lives up in Michigan. She is a Michigan girl, and she said that on one of her posts that they pay $4 for gas in Michigan. And I'm like, whoa, $4.20. That's what I meant to say, not 20, but $4.20. And I'm like, it's getting near $5 a gallon now. And all we keep hearing from the Republicans and some Democrats is lower tax, give the oil companies tax breaks. How much more tax breaks can we give them? I mean, this is ridiculous. This is from OpposingViews.com. That they haven't, they've been giving tax breaks, tax deductions since 1913. And last year, they made $80 billion in profit. They made $200 million a day. Now, how many of you out there would love to get that kind of a profit? Make that every day. Only 5 companies did. And not only did you have to pay 25% on your taxes, these people didn't have to pay nothing. They paid nothing. They got a refund. You know that refund you get once a year, April 15th? But you pay into the system, though. These people don't even pay into the system, and they still get a freaking refund. So what the hell is fair about that? I mean, seriously, there's nothing fair about that. I mean, you know, so... And they say, well, you're raising taxes. Rand Paul famously said today on the on the Senate floor that raising the taxes would not create jobs or it would not help lower gas prices. Do you mean to tell me that they can't hire people making $80 billion a year in profit? Well, maybe they don't need all that profit. They can just take a little bit of lower profit, pay some taxes actually, put money back into the system, the government and everything, so we could use that to create jobs and everything. Put more people back to work, more people be driving their car, and they could lower the price of gas and still make money. See, that would work, you know. But these jerks don't think of that. And what about the oil subsidies? What kinds are there? From the American Center for American Progress, eliminating the tax subsidies for oil companies by Seema J. Gandhi, May 13th, 2010. 9 of them. Intangible drilling cost. That means that where they drill in certain places and stuff, they could get a refund, a tax deduction, a subsidy for drilling. Why do you think they want to drill for? Deduction for tertiary injections. Tertiary or enhanced oil recovery methods increase the amount of oil that a company can extract from a well by an additional 5% to 15%. In other words, you know, depending on where they drill and stuff, and how much they drill, they can get a tax deduction for drilling more oil. Unbelievable. The third one, percentage depletion allowance. Percentage depletion allowance, an independent oil company to deduct from its taxes about 15% from the revenue generated from a well, even if that amount exceeds the well's total value. 4. Passive investments. The government generally only allows investors to deduct a limited amount of losses from passive activities, such as renting land in order to prevent tax shelters. Yet oil and gas properties are exempt from this rule. In other words, they can go over that limit. It don't matter. They still won't get taxed or fined for that, where everybody else will. Domestic manufacturing tax deduction. Companies that manufacture, produce, or extract oil or gas in any primary derivative receive a manufacturing subsidy provided that the product was made in the United States. But since removing this subsidy does not affect the product of oil, the subsidy does not significantly affect business decisions, and eliminating the subsidy would not affect consumer prices. Number 6, geological and geophysical expenditures. The Energy Policy Act of 2005 created this tax subsidy, which allows companies to deduct the cost associated with research for oil. In other words, when you do medical research, you have to pay for it. When they do research for oil, they don't have to pay for it. Think about that one. Foreign tax credit. This credit is intended to prevent the double taxation of income that is taxed abroad, but also subject to tax in the United States. Yet companies, particularly oil companies, have managed to exploit this subsidy even when they don't pay income taxes abroad. In total, adjusting this rule would prevent companies from avoiding about $8.5 billion in taxes over a 10-year period. Enhanced oil recovery credit. Companies receive, this is number 8, companies receive a 15% income tax credit for the cost of recovering domestic oil when they use enhanced oil recovery methods to extract oil that is too vicious to be extracted by conventional primary and secondary water flooding techniques. In other words, think about it. And we would, in 9, marginal well production. This provision provides a subsidy for oil and gas production from certain types of oil and gas wells. So in other words, they have created the system to basically where they can get a tax break for just breathing. This is unbelievable. And we're paying for it at the pump? I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. There's no control. Obama and the Democrats they're doing nonsense, and the Republicans, this is their wet dream. You know, this is the failure of Milton Friedman and the free market right before our eyes. Somebody cannot mean to tell me, I mean, that we shouldn't tax these people and that we shouldn't be regulating them, because if we had price control and regulations to make sure that they didn't outsource, that they didn't get subsidies and stuff, I mean, we would get over, I'll read some of them, but we would gain $7.8 billion in revenue by getting rid of the number 1 subsidy. The number 2 subsidy, we would get $67 billion over the deduction for territory and injectics. Excuse me. For the third one, percentage depletion allowance, we get $10 billion. For preventive passive investments, we get $180 million in 10, or excuse me, 180. These are over 10 years. But still, even though that's for 7.9 billion or 8 billion in 10 years, that's about less than $1 billion. That's less than $1 billion a year. But for number 2, which we would get, come on, there we go. We would get $67 billion in 10 years. That's $6 billion in added revenue every year. That could create thousands of jobs and, you know, put more people back to work who, you know, that's what these stupid, greedy tax oil companies and stuff don't understand. The more people who have jobs, the more people and stuff are taking the public transportation. Why? They can't afford a car. A record number of people now in the United States can't afford a car. So they're taking buses and any other transportation means. They're carpooling with their friends. So if more people had a car, more people would buy gas, you know, and of course I want to switch to green energy myself, but from a business standpoint, that's actually terrible business. You're getting rid of consumers and stuff. So, unbelievably, you idiots, by using your greed, are taking away customers. $4.20 a gallon, and it keeps going up, ladies and gentlemen. What is it going to take to stop this? What is it going to take? To his credit, Obama is getting out there, calling the Republicans out on this, and the Democrats who voted, the Senate today, voted to, they rejected Obama's plan to want to get rid of these tax subsidies. So 6 Democrats voted along with the rest of the Republican gang, including Rand Paul and them. So congratulations, all you people who vote Republican. Now the gas is $4.20, and you're like, dude, that's because the regulation. There is no regulations. They get subsidies. They get a tax reduction, or you know, they do. They get subsidies. So it's your fault as well. I'm sorry, America, but we've got to wake up, and that is the truth.